Hi, I'm Erik Voss, and we got a new trailer for Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp, coming July 6th, giving us new looks at Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne as the Wasp, showing us her very literal interpretation of Blade Runner. This trailer is so fun, but really, let's be honest, it's only the second best Ant-Man trailer.
Ants! Ants! Ant-Man!
So let's throw a Pym's particle disc on this trailer, blow it up to scrutinize it frame by frame. That's a little forced, but you get what I mean. We're gonna talk about all this new tech, the villain, the stuff you might have missed, and yeah, if any of my general predictions end up being right, possible spoilers ahead. Let's get started.
I just have one question. When Cap needed help, if I'd asked you, would you have come?
I guess we'll never know. But if you had, you'd have never been caught.
Okay, after this opening shot of Oakland Bay Bridge overlooking downtown San Francisco, we get some reminders of where we last saw Ant-Man, fighting alongside Team Cap at the Leipzig airport in Captain America Civil War. So for any of you with questions about the timeline, this is all taking place after Civil War. Actually, the Avengers Infinity War prelude comic that just came out established that after Cap broke his buddies out of the Raft prison at the end of Civil War, Scott Lang returned to his daughter in San Francisco. Now I'll talk about his legal status in a bit, but the fact that they're referencing Civil War suggests that this story will be set before Infinity War, even though this movie's gonna come out 2 months after that movie does. Yeah, it's a little confusing. Like, if their chat here came after Infinity War, you'd think Scott would reference the more recent and more apocalyptic team-up event, as opposed to that relatively smaller stakes boy fight over, what was it? Superheroes having to wear name tags? Anyway, Ant-Man and the Wasp is looking like a fun side adventure focusing on the relationship between these two heroes, separate from the bigger world-changing MCU events. Hope's line here might be an inside joke to the fact that her character was originally planned to appear in Captain America Civil War. According to the screenwriter Stephen McFeely, she was cut because they didn't really have time to establish the Wasp's origin as her own character. Oh, hey, wait, there's more trailer here. Let's move on to the next section.
I do some dumb things, and the people I love the most, they pay the price.
Thanks to you, we had to run.
So this is cool. Marvel Studios logo pops into frame like it's using Pym particles, but also listen closely to the music here. This guitar riff is the song Ants Invasion by the band Adam and the Ants. Get it? Because ants. We also see how Scott Lang is now under house arrest, strapped with an ankle bracelet. Now, if I had to guess, that bracelet could be specifically modified by the feds to prevent Scott from shrinking down out of it. Or maybe it's just too snug to fit his suit underneath it. Perhaps after escaping the raft, Scott was able to arrange a special deal with the government to let him stay under house arrest instead of, throwing him back in there. Like, maybe he has an arrangement where he's doing these contract missions for them now to stay out of that prison. Regardless, it looks like the beginning of this movie will deal with the consequences of Scott's decision to participate in those broader superhero conflicts, justifying why Ant-Man stories are set in a smaller, more grounded world. His character has a reason to want to stay out of that stuff. And those consequences include throwing that exposure on Hank and Hope as well, with the government probably wanting to know the source of that Pym technology that is now going viral online thanks to Peter Parker's YouTube uploads. Let's move on.
We're still running.
Let's go.
So this section has my favorite part of this trailer, Hank Pym shrinking down a building into luggage. And yeah, this is pretty nuts. Hank tipping it like that as he rolls it away probably would cause all the furniture inside to slide around. Except if you think about it, Hank probably designed this building as a smaller model and constructed it on a small scale, where the interiors could be designed like a dollhouse with everything glued down or like magnetized in place. I mean, seriously, what contractor is gonna build a massive sliding handle on the roof of a building?
This guy wants a handle on top and big wheels on the bottom? Old builder, I guess.
Also, if you look closely, you'll notice Scott is wearing a bathrobe here, and he doesn't have his FBI ankle bracelet anymore. So this could be part of a scene where Hank and Hope drag him out of bed and help him slip the feds. That could be why we saw the feds surrounding them at gunpoint earlier in the trailer. Next, there's a shot of this vessel warming up. Now we see this thing later shrunken down. It's one of the many vehicles Pym has equipped with size manipulating technology technology in the movie. There's also this shot of Hope looking very concerned, but she's standing in front of this purple car with sick flame design on the hood. Now this shows up later in the trailer, and I'm thinking that like the rollaway building, this could be a toy car that's been blown up to huge size. To me, that design definitely looks a lot like a Hot Wheels. In general, I'm just very pumped to see how fun this sequel seems to be having with size manipulation gags. I really don't think we can get enough of that. Next, there's this shot in the lab with some strange ripple effects going on inside a chamber. Now, I'll have some thoughts on this in a second, but first we got our first look at Lawrence Fishburne's character. He's playing Bill Foster, who in the comics is also the superhero Goliath. Now, it's not certain if we'll see him use those powers in this movie. It sounds like he'll just be a biochemist and former collaborator of Hank Pym. Actually, it sounded like Foster might be from that older generation of heroes when Hank and his wife Janet carried the Ant-Man and Wasp titles. Actually, while we're on that subject, this trailer didn't give us really any details about Michelle Pfeiffer as Janet, but she will be in this movie. Maybe Foster's role actually in the story is to help rescue Janet from the quantum realm where she disappeared into. And although I would say this trailer is heavier on the cool action shots of the Wasp, we do get one great shot of Ant-Man shrinking down to straddle what looks like a flying ant. Yes, this shot is very cool, and I have a fun fact about this. Real quick, thanks to our sponsor Skillshare for helping us make this video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes on pretty much everything. Its premium membership gives you unlimited access to high-quality classes on must-know topics so you can improve your skills, unlock new opportunities, and do the work you love. For me, I'm a writer and host trying to learn how to edit these kind of videos too, so I got so much out of Jordy Vanderput's Learn Video Editing on Premiere Pro CC. I also want to learn animation with After Effects, and Phil Ebener's dive into After Effects flat animation buildup was great for that. Skillshare is way more affordable than most learning platforms out there. An annual subscription is less than $10 a month. But we're even gonna do a special offer just for you guys. Sign up right now and get the first 3 months of Skillshare for just 99 cents. This was only supposed to be available in January, but Skillshare extended it just for you guys to February 15th. Just sign up at skl.sh/newrockstars99 or click on the link at the top of the description below. Seriously, this really helps our channel, so for every sign up, I will undo one button. Okay, fine, for every sign up, I'll button up another button. Guys, I only have so many buttons. Okay, back to the shot with Scott riding the flying ant. While ants can run upwards of 30 miles per hour, their airspeed is a lot slower, probably closer to that of a housefly, which is only about 4.5 miles per hour. So in other words, if Ant-Man is jumping on this to speed ahead and catch up to a car or escape another car, he'd probably just be better off running. Again, maybe he was just tired and he wasn't in a rush. You know, this is probably why people say nerds are ruining movies. No, let's move on. All right, in this section, we see some shots of a street chase sequence with Scott and Hope escaping a gang of bikers in this pimped out SUV. Now, the close-up of these gray gloves on the bike belong to this character. This is Ghost, the villain of this movie. In the comics, Ghost is a villain who butted heads with Iron Man's Stark Industries. He has the power to become invisible or intangible, allowing him to pass through surfaces, kind of like Kitty Pryde from the X-Men. But he also has the power to take over electronic devices. In this movie, they changed Ghost's gender. She's being played by Hannah John Kamen. And I'm pretty sure that that was Ghost's arms and hands that we were seeing earlier. This might be what it looks like when her body materializes. In this shot, check out those red eyepieces. Those could be the infrared sensors that Ghost uses to see through surfaces before she passes through them. I also just love this whole hood design. It gives Ghost a truly spectral appearance. Now, another villain appears in this section if you're looking closely. In the front seat of this SUV is Walton Goggins' character, Sonny Birch. Now, in the comics, Birch is a corporate baddie who works as a weapons contractor for Cross Industries, and he's buddies with Obadiah Stane. My guess is he's chasing down Scott and Hope, trying to get his hands on some of that Pym technology. Actually, later in this section, you can see Birch again clutching a briefcase on the ferry as Ant-Man turns into Giant Man and rises out of the water. So, piecing this all together with a few other shots we've seen, Sonny Birch and Ghost are chasing Scott and Hope in their Pym mystery machine, and then they pull this cool move of shrinking down and resizing to flip over one of their pursuers. And then somehow there's a turn of events where Birch gets what he's seeking and tries to escape on a ferry, which actually, if you remember, we saw in the opening shots of the trailer. And then Giant Scott rises out of the water, Ursula style, to snatch it back. It also looks like Michael Pena as Luis will be involved in this car chase. I think he might be the one driving that hopefully Hot Wheels car. Really, I would just love if Ant-Man and the Wasp is just one extended chase heist with a tech football being swapped back and forth. Kind of the way Baby Driver was. Actually, wouldn't it be cool for Baby Driver's director Edgar Wright to direct an Ant-Man movie? Oh wait. And before we move on, there's a very interesting shot of that vessel I pointed out before, shrunken way down to near microscopic microscopic levels. Now, these tiny creatures look a lot like tardigrades, 8-legged segmented micro-animals, nicknamed water bears that kind of look like chubby gummy bears. And not to geek out over bugs again, but they are awesome and you should read more about them. There were also some rumors that Ant-Man and the Wasp would feature giant insects attacking downtown San Francisco. So I'm wondering if these guys are the ones that will appear in some macro form. Just, imagine how gross and awesome that would be as we watch this next section.
Maybe you just need someone watching your back. Like a partner.
Okay, after a moment between Scott and his daughter Cassie, there are these amazing shots of the Wasp in action, taking down a few grunts in a fancy restaurant kitchen. Really, all I want to point out here is the gymnast-level precision the Wasp shows as she dodges these knives. She tucks her body into a thin line, even folding in her wings. And then after dodging the first one, she fans out those wings and uses them to level herself and propel herself forward. Also, how many large cutting knives does this dude have? At this rate, he would have had just 3 ready to go, chucking them super fast with amazing aim. Who is this, Bullseye? Moving on.
You gave her wings and blasters. So I take it you didn't have that tech available for me?
No, I did.
Just a fun bit of dialogue here between Scott and Hank, with Hank implying that trusting an ex-con with a shrinking suit that also has wings and blasters would have been probably a step too far. Then we close out on a shot of Scott riding behind Wasp, but then we smash cut to this amazing title card with each letter blowing up in size, synchronized to the notes of Adam and the Ants' guitar riff. I just love how vibrant and comic booky this title is. Very fun and kitschy. The diagonal design reminds me a lot of the Back to the Future title card. It just looks like this whole movie will embrace this fun irony, which I'm very excited about. Oh, right, and one last little bit of this trailer. Ah, so great. One would have never imagined a Hello Kitty Pez dispenser would be so dangerous, but here we are. To me, this seems like a heightened gag building on the way they used Thomas the Tank Engine in the first movie, and that fuel truck Ant-Man threw at War Machine in Civil War.
Oh, come on! Oh, man, I thought it was a water truck.
A question for you guys. Do you think Ant-Man and the Wasp's powers could at all be useful against Thanos? I don't really remember seeing Ant-Man in the Infinity War trailer. Maybe he's there on some microscopic level. And part of me thinks he could only be truly useful in some kind of side mission that contributes to the overall fight back against Thanos. But I don't know, watching this trailer, it could be interesting to see these two use something like the quantum realm to destabilize Thanos from the inside out, the way Ant-Man was able to screw up Tony Stark's Iron Man armor in Civil War. Comment with your thoughts down below, or tweet me directly at Erik Voss, and follow New Rockstars on Twitter at New Rockstars for updates on our videos. Like and share this video, and subscribe to New Rockstars for breakdowns of all the Marvel stuff you love. Avengers, Infinity War, Black Panther, Thor, Ragnarok. Guys, we got it all. Sam Batcher's even going back to watch all the other MCU movies till we get to Infinity War. And if you really want to help this channel, you can contribute to us on Patreon. Big thanks to all of our donors, especially Pony Stark. Thanks for watching. Bye.